So what we're gonna learn is S3. It is one of the great service available by AWS, and why we're gonna use it. So that we will be learning soon. AWS S3. Referring the AWS document is like one of the wise choice that you have a lot of information on this official documentation. And sometime, at the beginning, like you may find that yeah, these informations are not relevant. But yes, once you will be trying to go through these documents, official documents, so your knowledge will eventually increase. And for the certification, as we were talking about the certifications a bit, so you can always, before you go and appear an exam of the AWS, so I will always say that download the blueprint and cover the topics from the FAQs also. So FAQs have some of the questions which is being asked by the experienced or the fresher people. So you can always click on the FAQs, and then you have like a bunch of questions and answers for different things. Right. So let's start with this. Like, what is Amazon S3? So Amazon S3 is a object storage built to store and retrieve any amount of data from anywhere on the internet. So if I talk about the storage, so there are like different kind of storage is available. We are already aware about we are already aware about some of them. And so if I say block storage, so block storage is something which we use every day when you are using your laptop. So your laptop is saving all the informations on a block, right? So your operating system decides that on which block it has to save the data. So when it comes to store the data on any storage by your laptop or by your operating system, so by default they are using block storage. What it does basically, it creates the block on your hard disks. That is one of the simplest definition. However, there is a great detail available. So block storage. Now the problem with the block storage is that it is going to available only on your local disk, right? And so that is one thing. You cannot access the block storage over the network or over the internet. If you wanted to access the things over the network, then you have to go and use the different storage type or different file system, basically network file system. Right? So network file system, also known as NFS, what it allow you to do, like you can go and share the file systems with the another computer in the network, and the another computer will be able to access the data. So that is what we mean by the NFS, network file system. Okay. So the network file system cannot access over the internet. Again, it can only be accessed over a given network. So if you have a computer which is a part of a network of 200 computers, so like rest of the 199 computers will be able to access if you create NFS in your system. So you will be creating a directory, and then you will be sharing with the other computers, right? So that is what we have NFS. Whereas if we talk about the S3 storage, so it is providing us a great capability, and it is highly scalable. And the best thing about the S3 storage is the cost, right? So they are charging extremely low amount of cost, extremely low. Even if you like have terabyte of data, so the cost will be very less. What can I do with Amazon S3? Amazon S3 provides a simple web interface that you can use to store and retrieve any amount of data. So sometimes you will see that companies are using this, like everybody is using this AWS Management Console to store and retrieve data. So to store and retrieve data, everybody is using this Amazon S3 buckets, and yeah. So what is the benefit? Again, the benefit is cost, and it is highly durable. So highly durable. So when I say like highly durable, so how much durable it is? That can be a question. So Amazon S3 is designed for 11 times 9s, 99.9999999% of durability, right? So it provides you the great durability. And I have read somewhere that the chances of losing an object, when I say object, so object I mean file. So the chances of losing a file in Amazon S3 is like once in several years. So that is kind of durability it provides. What do we mean by durability? Durability, that means the life of the object, right? So that is what we mean by durability, life of the file. When I say file, so in Amazon S3 it is going to be object. So I will be referring these two words some time all together. So file, object, file. So the benefit you can see, like the durability is very high, the scalability and the availability. If we talk about the availability, so the availability is also very high. It is 99.99. So 99.99 is a good amount of availability, right? So 99.99. And if I talk about the scalability, so scalability is also very high. Means Amazon S3 says that you can save unlimited amount of data. Amazon's S3 service says that you can go and save the unlimited amount of data. There is no limits as of now, right? So, and the size of one file can be up to 5 TB. So that is a kind of scalability Amazon S3 provides. You can think of 5 TB. That means like 5,000 gigabyte. 5,000 gigabyte. It's a big number. It's really a big number. Now we have the other benefits of this Amazon S3 service, simple storage service. Amazon S3, that means simple storage service. Wide range of cost-effective storage classes. Wide range of cost-effective storage classes. So what are the benefits of having different type of storage classes? That will be learned. But as of now, you can think of like we have this standard storage. We have infrequent storage, we have intelligent tiering, so different kind of storage is available. Yeah, and so we can also say that storing data in Amazon S3 secured from the unauthorized access with encryption features and access management tools, right? That means like Amazon S3 says that you can encrypt the data inside the Amazon S3. And you can also apply different kind of policies that who can access what. So granular permissions can be given to the users or on a file. All right, so that is what I really liked about. And you can also see like we have different kind of compliances bodies available, right? Compliances program and PCI DSS. So if you are working in a finance company, so this is something really required. PCI DSS. HIPAA and FedRAMP, EU data protection nowadays very strict, and FISMA, right, to help you meet regulatory requirements. So these are different regulatory bodies available for, and we have to get compliant. So if you are using S3 as a storage, so you are already compliant, right? Okay. So as I said, like managing easily manage data and access control. So yes, like you can easily manage the data inside S3, and you can also easily manage the access control, right? So we can give the public access, we can give the private access, we can say that this IAM user will be able to access this folder, this IAM user will be able to access another folder, and like that, so, and even you can go and define different kind of permissions for all the users available. Having access to the Amazon S3 bucket, simple storage service. Now, one of the great thing that query in place services for analytics. So a lot of companies, what they are doing, including us, that we are saving our data on Amazon S3. It is not really feasible to save all the data on EBS volumes. The EBS volumes are the volumes which is been attached to your instance, right? And saving data on a EBS volume can be very costly. So what we do, like after a couple of days basically, or sometime after like 2-3 months, what we do, like we move our data, infrequent data, to the S3 storage, right? Now you can think of like if you are working for a company which is a data analytics company, so you will find that a lot of data are there on which we need to run queries. So if you have already moved the data from EBS volume to the S3, so now probably this time you have to go and run some kind of analytics tool, right? So that you can analyze the data. You can analyze the data available or stored in Amazon S3. So what kind of tool we can use? We can use Amazon Athena to query S3 data, right? And S3 also works as a data warehouse, right? So S3 also works as a data warehouse. And one more thing, that whenever you create the snapshot, of the RDS, which we have seen in the previous class, whenever we create the snapshot of the EBS volumes, that is also what we have seen. Whenever we create the AMI, so you always see that we get one snapshot, right? Whether we create the AMI, whether we create the snapshot of the volume, or whether we create the snapshot of the RDS, right? So we always get one snapshot ID. So that snapshot is actually getting saved in the S3 only, right? So when you try to retrieve, then it comes from the S3 storage only, right? And you might be thinking that I have never seen that S3 storage where uh, it is getting saved all the data in my S3 account. Now, whenever you create this snapshot and everything, so that is being saved in the S3 bucket of Amazon, owned by Amazon, right? So that is one thing. So S3 is a quite popular service, and it is like one of the great service which everybody is using in some way. And you need to figure out that how you can go and use this S3 in your production environment to save cost, to for the backup and other stuff. Before we actually move to the this demo, let's do one thing. Let's explore about the storage classes. So as I said, like we have different kind of storage classes, and why we are using it, why they exist. That is what we're gonna explain and explore. So Amazon S3 simple storage service. Amazon S3 simple storage service provide us different kind of storage classes. They are S3 standard, S3 intelligent tiering, S3 standard infrequent access. When I say infrequent access, that means IA. Amazon S3 one zone IA, and Amazon S3 Glacier, Amazon S3 Deep Archive. Right? So these are the different kind of storage classes available to us. So why we use this standard storage? So you can see that durability of this standard storage is 99.9999999% of objects across multiple ability zones, right? So across multiple ability zones. So even like one ability zone went down, so you will be having your data will be having on different ability zones. So that's how it's provide a very long life to your files. Now the availability is also 99.99% over a given year, right? And so this basically allow you to meet your SLA's, service level agreement. So SLA is very important in case of production. And it says that Amazon S3 lifecycle management for automatic migration of object to the other S3 storage classes. So what storage classes we have? The other one is the intelligent tiering. So this intelligent tiering storage class is designed to optimize cost by automatically moving data to the most effective access tier without performance impact and operational overhead. It works by storing object into the monitoring automation fees per object, and S3 monitors access pattern of the object in the S3 intelligent tiering and moves that one that the one that has not been accessed for 30 consecutive days in the infrequent access tier. Okay, so what do we mean by this? That this tiering basically automatically you don't have to go and decide that which storage classes you have to go and use. What it basically does, like it performs the operation its own, whether it have to go and move the data to the standard storage or maybe the standard infrequent access. So what it does, like after 30 days, if you haven't access your data within 30 days, so what it will do after 30 days, it will automatically move the file to the another storage type, another storage type. So that will be standard infrequent access. Now you can see like the ability zone and the durability is still same. It is still same and across multiple ability zones, whereas the design for ability is 99.9%. So 99.99%, still it is a good number, but it is not as good as 99.99. Okay. Now in case of infrequent access, what it does, like the data which is not being accessed frequently, so that data we can go and save in the Amazon S3. And again, the benefit of doing so, like you will be having some cost advantages, right? And it is designed for 99.99 ability over a given period of time. And whether you use the standard storage, the intelligent tiering, the standard infrequent access, one zone, in every storage you can apply the encryption. So it is almost the same thing. Only the thing is, like the cost, the amount of cost varies, and you might be thinking that it is already charging a very small amount, so why like we worry about the cost, and why like I'm mentioning cost again and again. So when we say S3, so we are using S3 as a data lake, and we save a lot of data into the S3, and it becomes like terabyte in several hours itself, or maybe like sometime it is 1 day or 2 days, but we have the data available in TBs. So if you gonna calculate, so like saving the data in TBs, so it can be you have to go and pay a lot of cost by the end of the month. But if we use S3, so it is just a small amount that we have to go and pay for the S3. Okay, so even like if you are not satisfied and you say that yeah, the cost is still high for for the amount of data which you have, and you just wanted to make sure that you have the data, you know that you don't want to use the data, even if you will be having the requirement to read that amount of data. So what you will do, like you will always raise a request with the Amazon, and Amazon will say that okay, you have the requirements, you have to go and wait for next 4 and 5 hours. We will retrieve that data and will share that data with you. Okay, so this is how this Amazon Glacier works. It is basically the storage class for the data archiving. The storage class for the data archiving. If you have a data which is not being used from last 1 year, and now you feel that now this data is never going to be used, so instead of deleting it, you can actually go and save your data in the archival. That is Amazon S3 Glacier. Okay, so this is a a graph performance across the S3 storage classes. So you can always see that in case of intelligent tiering, minimum storage duration charge is 30 days. So even if you go and keep your data for 1 day or 2 days, so you get charged for 30 days. So that is one thing. In case of infrequent access, again this is same, the 30 days, and one zone is 30 days. In Glacier, you will get charged for 90 days, even you go and keep the data for 1 day or 2 days, or maybe like an hour itself, but you will be getting charged for 90 days. And now we have the last storage, which is Amazon Glacier Deep Archive. So this is extremely cheap, and the process is again going to be same. And yeah, here you can see like minimum storage duration charge is 180 days. And yes, one thing you have to make sure that you always need to pay the retrieval fee. If you're gonna save your data in this standard infrequent access one zone and Glacier and then Glacier Deep Archive. So whenever you wanted to retrieve the data, you have to go and give the information to the Amazon that this is the data which I wanted to read. So whenever you try to read the data, so you have to go and pay the retrieval cost, right? So this is how it has been designed. Okay, so let's try to do the things practically. First of all, in order to play around with this Amazon S3, you always need to create the bucket, right? You always need to create the bucket. So bucket is just a holder, a place where you can go and keep your files, right? And you can apply the different kind of policies on a single bucket. So let me go and delete this bucket first of all. So it is giving me a message that bucket is not empty, and first of all I have to go and delete all the objects, all the files in the bucket. Okay, so I will do that part later on. First of all, let's try to create a bucket. So you always have to go and click on this create bucket, and you can also use the AWS CLI. I hope that you remembered about it very well. And so go and click on this create bucket and say right. Now, whenever you try to create a bucket, so you always need to choose a reason. And one more thing that Amazon S3 service is a global service, so you can see the global service, right? And but whenever you try to create any bucket, so you have to go. Whenever you try to create the S3 bucket, so you have to choose a reason. So when I choose region AP South 1, the Mumbai region, so in that case, whenever I will be saving the data, so in that case, my data will be get saved in the Mumbai region data center only. Mumbai region data center only, right? So that is what happens. And sometimes it is required to save the data nearest to your location, so that you can get the network benefit, right? Now, by default, this setting has been added like 1 year ago, and it says like block all public access. So by default, if this option is checked, so you will not be able to say, you will not be able to make this bucket publicly available. And so as of now, I'm going to like leave it default, and we will be changing it later on whenever we require. Let's go and click on this create bucket. And one more thing about the bucket name, that the bucket name should be very unique, and it is an entity, it is a name which is global across all AWS, right? So if I have given this I take the Straddle 2, so that means like nobody else will be able to take this name. Even if you try as of now, so it is going to give error that already exists. I can also show you that what kind of message you will be getting. So you can try to create a bucket like demo, and you will be getting one error. See, bucket with the same name already exists, right?
So
this
one
is the
question.
problem.
So if I have RDS in US East and S3 is in US West, so can I retrieve the data from S3 to RDS?
Can you retrieve data from S3 to RDS? Yes, you can
Yes.
do that thing, because S3 is a global service. S3 is a global service, so definitely you can do that thing. No problem at all.
Okay.
Okay. So whenever you say that you wanted to retrieve the data, so are you like talking about the dump data of the database that you wanted to move to the a database available in another region?
The S3 bucket I just created in US East, I mean US West. So the RDS is in US East. Yeah.
Yeah, you will be able to do it, no problem at all. S3 is a global service, right? Just like our service called IAM, Identity and Access Management. Identity and Access Management is also a global service. You have seen that. Whenever you try to create the user, so what it does, like, that user have the access to all of the reason resources, right? Depending upon the permission. So you don't have to go and create users in different regions. Likewise, you don't have to go and create buckets in every region. One bucket can be used across the different different regions.
Okay. Okay.
Okay. So yeah, so I was saying that the S3 bucket name is unique, and it is unique across the globe. So if one name is already taken, so you will not be able to take the same name. So the demo is already taken by someone, and that's why like we are not able to take it, right? So now let's go and click on one of the bucket, and you will find that this bucket is completely empty. And what you can do, you can create the folder files and upload the folder file to this S3 bucket. Okay, so this bucket is available, and now you can see like you have the option to create folders. You also have the option to create to upload files here. Now what you can do, you can always go and click on this add file and upload some of the files if needed, right? So let's go and upload this thing. See, it is giving a message called successful, one successful. Okay. Now what if I try to update or upload the another document with the same name? When I say document, when I say object, when I say file, so these are like same things. So if I try to upload a document with the same name, or upload a file with the same name, so what will happen? The content available in this file will be get overridden. That means the previous version of the file will be overridden automatically. So how you can go and avoid this scenario? Let's say that you have a file called php.config, and now when you say that you wanted to upload the new version of the php.config, so in that case the previous version is getting overridden, right? So in order to avoid these kind of scenarios, what you can do, like you can always go and say that the bucket have a property versioning. The versioning on the bucket should be enabled. The versioning on the bucket should be enabled. So how you can go and enable the versioning on the bucket? And before I actually do so, let me go and show you that when I go and click on this object, that is file, so what it will show me, like it will show me the owner, it will show me the last modified date, and the storage class is standard, the default one. The server side encryption is none, and the size is like 695 byte. And key. So when I say key, so that means I am talking about the file name, right? So file name is what we mean as key. And this is the URL. So by using this URL, you can also go and access the object. But the thing is, like, the policy should allow us. The policy should allow us. As of now, if I try to open this thing in a new tab or somewhere else, so it should not be visible, right? And it is not visible. It says like access denied. So you can see like every object, every file have the different kind of properties available. The storage class, that is the standard. The encryption is not applied yet. The metadata, so you can always go and add like different metadata on the objects. Let's say that you have a video file, so you can add a metadata that it is a video file. If you have a text file, so you can say like SCSI metadata, and so likewise you can do this system. Okay, and one important thing is the permission. So as of now, if you try to click on the permission, so you will see that we are saying here access for the AWS account, and nobody else will be able to access, this object from here. Nobody else will be able to access this object from here. So if you wanted to share your object with another account of AWS, so in that case you can always click on this add account, and it will ask you a 12 digit of account number or an email ID, so any one of them. And as of now you can also see the public access. So public access is none, so there is no public access as of now. But if you say like read object and read object permission, so these kind of permissions can be given to the object, right? And if I show you this one, the access for object owner, so it says that the object owner has read access, the object owner has like read object permission and write object permission. So these permissions has been given to owner. Okay. So now we can go back to the bucket. You can go and click on this iTech Israel 2, and so this is my like object. This is my file. So I have shown the properties related to the file. Now let me show you the properties related to the bucket. So I was talking about the versioning. So I was saying that whenever you upload a file with the same name in the S3 bucket, whenever you upload a file with the same name in S3 bucket, what will happen? It will override the content, right? It will override the content. So in some of the cases we don't want it to do it. What we wanted to do, like if anybody try to upload anything with any of the content, any new content, so what it will do, like it will create a version of that file. It will create the version of that file. Now in order to apply versioning, in your system, you can always go and say properties, and then you can apply this versioning. Now there is one problem with the versioning, that you cannot delete the versioning once you have allowed it. You can only suspend, right? That means like if the versioning, you have enabled the versioning, and you have like created some of the new versions for different files, so it is not really feasible to delete the files like by S3 automations. What can be done, that versioning is enabled, so what can be done, that you can go and delete the versioning. So that is only the possible way. Okay, so if you wanted to enable the versioning on your S3 buckets, you have to go and click on this versioning, and then you have to click on this enable versioning, right? So as I was saying that if you have enabled the versioning and you have saved the files in the S3 bucket, so you will not what it will do, like you will not be able to disable the versioning. What you can do, you can only suspend the versioning. That means the file for which the versions has been created will not be affected. The versions will be still there. Okay. For example, you have a file called animal.txt, right? And let's say that in that file you have added like dog and cat. Okay. And then you have saved it, and then you upload it to the S3 bucket. So as soon as you upload that file to the S3 bucket, so it will go and create the version 1 file. Okay. Now you have added again, you went to your desktop, and then you added the content Tom and Jerry, and then you save it and then upload back to the S3 bucket. So what it will do, like it will go and create the second version. Now after all these things, you have realized that versioning is not really required, so you can suspend the versioning but cannot disable it. Suspend, that means the versions which is already created in the S3 bucket cannot be reverted, right? They are going to stay in your account. But if any files comes and you try to update that file, so in that case the previous content will be overridden. Now let's enable this versioning and click on save. So the versioning has been enabled. Now if I try to go and click on this overview section once again and try to upload the file, click on this add files and say ARV and then say like upload. So let's try to click on this upload. Add file. Click on upload. Right. Now what you can do, like you can go and click on this S3 object, and here you can see like latest version is available. And if I try to click on this drop down, so you will see like the two previous versions are also available. Okay, so this is what the impact is after enabling the versioning on your S3 bucket. So any question from this as of now till what we any question what we have covered so far?
Let's say like if we can we keep like only 5 files should be kept, like after that everything need to be deleted. Is that possible?
Can you come again?
Yeah, like if we storing the snapshots of an image or a volumes, so we are storing with a tag saying like a date, right? So can I write it in the S3 bucket saying that only 5 files need to be stored, and before 5 files everything need to be read off like a deleted?
So let me know if I understood your question well. So you are saying that can we go and say create this snapshot of particular files on your operating system and then save it to the S3 bucket?
No. Like for example, now I can see that argv.json, right? Like can I keep a rule saying that only 5 files need to be kept in this particular folder? After before 5 files, like old one need to be deleted by itself. Can we do that, or it's not possible in S3 bucket?
So you wanted to say that can we go and delete the previous version once the new version?
Okay, let me come another way. Like only
the thing is like your voice is not that audible properly. It is like, can you use the headphone if possible?
Yeah, sure. Can you hear me properly now?
Yeah, better now.
Yeah, actually I'm saying like in I take folder, S3 folder. Now I can see only one file or one object. So can we write a code saying that in my S3 bucket we need to store only 5 files, like 5 objects only. The oldest one need to be deleted automatically when the new one, sixth one is coming into the folder. Can we do that, or?
Okay. So your question is, can we go and say that we wanted to keep only 5 files, and as soon as like 6 file comes, so like 1 file should delete, right? Something like that.
Deleted. Yes.
Okay. So in S3, like we cannot define those kind of stuff. S3 says that you can go and save unlimited amount of file and folders within us. But yes, what you can do, you can go and create a script or maybe a Lambda function that is going to perform this activity. So you can say that whenever I upload any file to the S3 bucket, so execute one Lambda function, and the logic which you wanted to define, let's say keep the 5 files and then delete the sixth one, the last older one. So you can define that logic, and that Lambda function is going to execute a Python code for you, and then it will, so your task will be get done, right? So that is what you can do the best. The other thing is that you can go and create a shell script and perform the same kind of activity. I hope that you got the answer for your
Sorry,
question.
I didn't get the last line, last one.
The last one was like, you can also do the activity by using this shell script. You can call different AWS CLIs, and
Mm-hmm.
then you can define the oldest file you wanted to delete. So you have to go and use the same logic which you have used in your Python code, and then you can perform that activity by executing that file manually in every 1 minute, or maybe 1 day, or maybe like 2 day, like kind of stuff. If you wanted to schedule that script, so you can use a server where the AWS CLI is configured, and then you can say at every 12 o'clock, or in every minute, basically you wanted to execute this script, right? So that is what you can define in the script. But I must say that doing this thing from the AWS Lambda function is the greatest option. So it will automatically trigger, the S3 will automatically trigger the Lambda function, and then you can define your logic, your task that you wanted to perform inside the bucket. I hope you got the answer for your question.
Yeah, I got it. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you. Any other question, guys? Okay, so that's fine. So now what we can do, we can go and take a break of 10 minutes, and then we can go and come back, and we will be learning about different things in AWS, right? So take a break and then come back after 10 minutes, then we will learn about some other properties of S3. Fine?
Okay.
Okay, cool. Okay, guys, so I'm back once again, and shall we start?
Yes, I'm ready.
Yes.
Okay, so we talked about this versioning, right? What it does, like, it allows us to save the different version of the files, and now what we and now you must be thinking that can we go and update the file from the S3 storage itself? That means can we go and edit the file from here itself? No, that is not possible. If you wanted to update any of the file, then you have to go and download that file on the system. Then you need to update it and upload that file back to the Amazon S3. Okay, so that is how we update the things in Amazon. Now let's go and click on these properties once again. And now we have something called server access logging. So server access logging is used to access or set up access log record that provide details about access request. So, when you enable this server access logging, so what will happen that, it will go and track, it will go and provide the basically record the details about access requests, that who have accessed this bucket. So all those access information will be get stored in another bucket. So if I try to go and click on this and enable this thing, so what will happen, like, it will ask me bucket name where the logs will be get stored for this bucket. So see, I can go and choose this bucket, and I can define a prefix. Let's say I take SRARUL to, let's say, logs, right? Go and click on save. Now what will happen, like, this, whenever I try to access this, I take SRARUL 2 bucket. So in that case, the log will be get saved in the access logging, server access logging. Now we have one of the great option available, that is static website hosting. So by using Amazon S3, you can also host static content. You can also host static content. Now, what do we mean by static content? Static content is something which is not changing frequently, right? If you wanted to make a change in the code and something, then you have to go and download the codes and update it and upload it back to the S3, right? So static means it is not changing. It is not changing frequently. You have to go and change this stuff manually. Now, if you wanted to host any website by using Amazon S3, that is completely possible. Now, you don't have to go and run the EC2 instance in order to run any of the website. So let's try to do this. Let's try to create a small web page from W3 school. Hey, so we are going to learn this, and we can say like page title here. And we can say the heading is, what is the heading? We wanted to keep the heading as, let's say, AWS S3 is a wonderful service, right? And the paragraph is, it has different storage classes and life cycle rules can be applied. Okay, let's go and run this thing. And so we got a page for us. Now let's go and save, copy this thing, and let me open my Visual Studio Code. So here we go. Let's go and save this content in a file. And we can save this document here itself, say index.html. Okay. Now let's go back to the S3, and we will be uploading this file again. We will be uploading this file after a while. But first of all, let's do our homework. Let's do this static website hosting configurations. Click on this, and you can see this option. Use this bucket to host a website. So you have to choose this option. Then you need to define that whenever anybody try to click on this link, so which file will open first. So in that case, I wanted to say index.html, and if any error occurs, in that case, which file should read. So we gonna say like if any error occurs, in that case, read the index.html file only, and then we can go and save here, right? And scroll up, go and click on the overview, click on this upload, then click on this add file, then go back to our documents, and here we should be having a file called index, right? We created here only. Okay, it is in download. Say go and click on next, and go and click on next. So you can see like we have different storage classes available for one object. So you can choose any one of them as per your requirement. As of now, or by default, it chooses the standard storage only. Now go and click on this next, and then upload. Fine. Now again, you can go to the properties section and click on this static website hosting. Then open this URL in a new tab or somewhere else, and you can see like we got a message 403 forbidden, right? So this is by default. There is no object in the bucket is public. Everything is completely restricted. So if you want somebody to access this bucket, so you have to go and make if you want somebody to access this bucket or object inside this bucket, then you have to go and define the permission. So go and click on this S3 management console again, and go to the permission section. So we have clicked on the overview. We have the number of files available. All the properties of the buckets are in the property section. Now the permissions related issues can be solved by using the permission tab only. So go and click on this tab, permissions. Now I told you that by default this option is always available, and it added like 1 year back. So block all public access, right? So as of now, no public access can be given to any of the object and file. So I have to go and disable this option if I'm pretty sure that yes, this is going to be my public bucket only. So I'm gonna like click, unclick, or uncheck this option. Go and save this thing, confirm it. Yeah. So you can see like public access setting updated successfully. Now you can go back to the overview section and click on this index.html file and say like make public. So you are making this object publicly available, right? Only this object is going to be publicly accessible. So we clicked on this make public, and it is like success. Now try to refresh this page and you should see the content. See, we got the content, right? So that's wonderful. We have the content available with us. So that's the easiest way of hosting any website by using the S3 buckets. And if I try to open something else, so in that case, what should happen? It should open the index.html file only. Like even like we are trying to access something, some wrong URL, so it's still like it is opening the same file because that is what we have defined. If I try to go and change this option, go to this bucket, go to this properties, and click on this static website hosting, and in the error section, if you say error.html and save it, so it will go and try to look for the error file, right? So now let's try to refresh this page and see, like we got this permission error because like 403 forbidden, it is trying to read the file error.html. So there is like two things: the file is not available and even the permission is not set for that file. So that's why we're getting this 403 forbidden error. Okay, so if you wanted to play around, then you can go and create the error.html file and then work on it. Okay, so object level logging, so it records object level API activity using the CloudTrail data event features. So when you enable this object level logging, so what will happen, like whenever there will be any object API call, so in that case that activity will be get recorded by the CloudTrail. So that is why we have this object level logging. And whenever you try to enable this thing, so it will ask you the existing CloudTrail where you wanted to save the activity logs. So I think as of now we don't have any CloudTrail available, but in productions we always use the CloudTrail in order to save the in order to record the API call of different services like EC2, RDS, S3, VPC, and all. Finally, we have this encryption option available, so you can also apply this encryption to your S3 bucket, and you can always apply the encryption to your S3 bucket that yes, go and say like AES 256 or maybe AWS KMS. So the encryption will apply as soon as you save or upload any data to the S3 bucket. So the encryption will be applied. Okay, and sometimes we have to go and apply the encryption in order to get compliant by the by different regulatories. So, and if you wanted to enable this KMS keys, then you have to go and choose a key available, and by default there is a key available, and you can always go and create the KMS key. So some of the organizations are choosing this option also.
So what is the difference between 256 and the KMS?
256, what it does, what it does, like it is a server-side encryption with Amazon S3 managed key. So you don't have to manage the key your own. You can just simply choose this option, and the encryption will be get applied to your objects, right? And whereas if you go and choose the KMS option, so in that case, again, it is also a server-side encryption with, but you have to go and choose your own key, right? So you will be having the KMS key that you can choose that, yeah, like use this key to encrypt the files or objects in your bucket.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
And if somebody asks you that, what is the encryption bit it is applying, so it is using the highest advanced encryption bit for the encryption, that is like 256 bit, right? So 256 bits are getting used in order to encrypt the object in your S3 bucket. Okay, so now now we are going to explore these events. This is probably one answer for your question that you asked, that how we can go and say that delete this sixth object, delete the like if we have like 5 objects, and as soon as anybody upload a new object to the S3 bucket or folder, and I wanted to delete the one oldest file from that folder available in our S3 bucket. So in order to do so, you have to go and write the Lambda function, and the Lambda function will be performing this action on behalf of you, right? Lambda function is basically you can go and write the code and in Python, maybe in Java, maybe in Node.js, and perform this activity, right? And in order to do so, first of all, you have to go and trigger the Lambda function whenever anybody uploads the file to the S3 bucket. So go and click on this events, and then say like add notification, and then you have to go and define the name of the event. So let's say like demo and something, and then again you can choose like when it should be generating the event. So if anybody try to put the object, or if anybody try to post or copy, or if anybody try to delete or restore, so those kind of options you can go and choose. And then you can also go and choose a folder that if somebody try to upload the things in a given folder, then only trigger this event, right? And send to, so this is the option which I was talking about, send to Lambda function, and then you can choose your Lambda function. So as of now, we have this easy to start. And if I will be putting anything inside this bucket, so what it will do, like it will automatically start the EC2 instance. Likewise, you can go and define your own logic that what you want to perform. Okay, when let's say save, and configuration overlap, configuration on the same bucket cannot share a common event type. Okay, do we have any other configuration, event configuration? Let's refresh the page. Oh yeah, I do remember. So in Lambda function itself, we have also defined that if anybody try to put any object in the S3 bucket, so trigger the Lambda function. That's why it is trying to overlap the things. Okay, this is how you go. This is how you're gonna add the event. Okay, and this is how you're gonna add the event. Now, permission section is one of the most important section you have, and as you have already seen that if you want to disable block all public access, so in that case you can do this. Now, if you wanted to play around the permissions and everything, so bucket policy is the right option to explore. And I wanted to say that what all content inside my bucket should be public, right? The users from the internet should be able to read but not write the content. So what I can do, I can go and click on this policy generator, and by using this policy generator, we can always create a policy, right? Just like the IAM policies, we can create some policy. So we have this S3 bucket policy, and we can say the principal. So principal is gonna be all. Principal is something like who can go and access the content. So as of now, it's going to be public bucket, and I will say like all. But you can also go and define the IAM user, ARN. Now you have to go and choose the service, so Amazon S3, and the actions. So actions really define that what kind of permissions you wanted to give to the users. So I wanted to say that only the get object, the user should be able to read the content, right? Nothing more than that. It is like get object, and here you have to go and define the name of the resource, the Amazon resource name. So go back here to the S3, and you can see like we have the ARN of the S3 bucket, and it is always same. Only the thing is like the name of the bucket will change. So when you try to do the same step, so try to replace the name of the bucket as it is here. Otherwise, what you can do that you can always go back to the S3 and copy the bucket ARN. Now click on this add statement and then generate policy. Copy this thing, this policy, and then go back to the S3 management console, and then you can go and paste the policy which you just copied, right, which you just created. So paste here. Now in this policy you can see like we have the version ID. So this is something, it can be anything. Then we have this version, right? So this version should be same as it is. It is going to same every time till the time we have the new update from Amazon. So it is going to same always. Statement, in a statement you can define different kind of actions or permissions. So here in the action you have defined that get object. That means user will be able to get object, and you are saying that effect is allowed, and then you are saying the resource is this one, this bucket. But I wanted to give access to all the objects inside my bucket. So what I can say here, that resource is, let's say, let me go and copy this thing. And then go and click on save, right? And yeah, so as of now both are same. So I wanted to say that all the objects inside my bucket. So I have to go and say slash, sorry, slash, and then star, right? Go and click on save, and it says that I have some kind of error in my policy. So yes, we do have error. We need to add a comma here. We need to add comma, right? Only the last line will not be having any comma, and apart from that all the line will be having a comma at the end. So you can see in action also we have comma here. The action starts from here and it is ending here, right? So that's why like every line have a comma except the last line. I'll try to go and click on save. Yes, so we saved the content. Now what we can do, we can try to refresh this page when we were trying to access class of products. So refresh this page, and this time we should be having some other error, right? Not this one. See, so it says like 404 not found. So no such key is available, no such file is available which we have given. So what I can say here, that when create a file, please maintain the privacy of. Okay, now we can just go and click on run, and we will be having new content. So as of now we can go and copy this thing and create a new file called error.html. This is the name which we have given in the configuration. Now go back to our Chrome and then say S3 bucket. Now go and click on this overview section, right? Click on the overview and then upload files. Click on this add file and then say error.html, right? Well, click on upload, and yes, now if we try to refresh this page with something else, so we should be having a read page, right? So you can see like we got a read page here, error page available. So this is how we can go and host a website, and this is how we can go and define all the different configuration in S3. Fine. The last thing which we have to go and talk about is the management. So as of now, if you try to click on any of the object, so you will see that this storage class is a standard. But we cannot afford this thing in the production environment where we have the data available in mostly in terabytes, right? So we can say that if we are not accessing the file more than 30 days, maybe like 6 months, then move the data automatically to the another S3 storage class where we have to go and pay less amount of data. So what I'm talking about is to apply the life cycle policy, life cycle policy. So let's go back to our S3 bucket where it is. So go and click on this S3. And then we have this bucket start2, and it is showing as public. And go and click on this management, and here you can go and define the different life cycle rule. Go and click on this add life cycle rule, and then you have to go and enter the name of the life cycle. Let's say move to infrequent storage. Okay, and you have like two options here. Choose the rule scope, whether you wanted to apply to a specific folder or the complete or the all object in the bucket. So choose this option. Go and click on next. Now you have this option storage class transition for current version and the previous version. So if the versioning is enabled, then this really makes sense, right? The previous version. But if the versioning is not enabled, then you can leave that rule. So I wanted to say transition for current version first of all. So add transition, and then we can go and say like move to the standard infrequent access after, let's say, 30 days, right? And we know that we have to go and keep the data in standard infrequent access for 30 days. So now we can go ahead and click on this add transition and move to, now you can see like this option is not available. Now move to Glacier. So we know that we have to go and keep the data in infrequent access at least for 30 days. So 30 plus 30 is equal to 60. So the minimum days will be 60. So if I say 59, so I should be having one error, right? I need to say 60. Now I acknowledge that this lifecycle rule will increase the on-time lifecycle. You can go and click on this, then next. And if you wanted to add any transition for the previous version, then you can always go and click on this previous version and scroll down and then click on this add transition for previous version of object. Now object becomes a previous version, so you can always choose this option. So what you wanted to perform, the previous version you wanted to move to the standard infrequent after how many days? Let's say after 30 days, right? And then say like add transition, and after 60 days, and this is the day which is like days after object creation, days after object creation. And here like this for the previous objects, it is days after object become non-current. So now you wanted to move to the Glacier after, let's say, 20, 30, so it is 60, yeah. So we can go and say like 60 here, that's fine. Now if you wanted to add like another transition, so you can always add for the previous version. You can say that yeah, move the data to the Glacier, deep archive, and then here in Glacier, we know that we have to go and keep the data for 80 days. So 80 plus 60. 80 plus 60, how much it is? Sorry, 180 plus 60 is equal to 240. So here we have to go and give 240 number. Because why I'm giving like 240? Because we know that first of all we have to go and save the data in standard and frequent up to 30 days, and the standard storage up to 30 days. So that is equal to 60. Then after that we have to go and save the data to the Glacier. So it will be like 60 plus. So it is like 60. Now we have the requirement to move the data to the Amazon Glacier. So in that case, it will be, and now in Glacier, we have to go and keep the data at least for 120 days, if I'm not wrong, or maybe 180. Yes, it is 180. So 180 plus 60 is equal to 240. Yep, so we got the next option. Now we have the expiration for the current version and the previous version. So you can go and say that after 25 days, this should expire. That means this should delete. For the previous version, you can also say that after 605, or you can change this number. It's up to you. 600 and 600, and delete this previous version, right? Go and click on next. Scroll down. I acknowledge that this life cycle rule will be applied to all objects and debug it. Apply. That's it. So that's it. Like, this is how you work around this life cycle rule and everything. Okay, so we are done with the S3. If anybody have any questions to ask, so they can ask. Otherwise, we can wrap up for the day. And tomorrow, what we can do, like we can revise the order scaling group, right? And you can let me know if you want to learn anything from this S3 service, from this Amazon services.
And we also have something called Road 53. Will it be covered in that session, auto scaling group?
Yep. So definitely, thanks for reminding me. Tomorrow we will be covering the Route 53 and the auto scaling group. Okay. So any question from this? So I'm going to delete my bucket. Any question as of now?
Oh, I'm good.
I'm good too.
I'm good, Israel. Thank you.
Okay. Cool then. So we can wrap up for today, and it is giving me error. So let's try to delete first of all, and then finally, after deleting all these things, I will be wrapping up the class. So it was saying that the versioning is enabled, and first of all, I have to go and delete all the versions of the files. Then only I will be able to delete it. So that's why I use CLI a lot. I don't use this GUI all the time. So CLI is really easy, especially like when you started to work in DevOps. So delete all these files in different versions. Now go back and say like delete. So one more thing I wanted to share with you guys, and but this is just off the track. If you will be changing any your mind for other trainings, and also I think you guys have to go and contact Venkat only. But yeah, so what I try to do, like I try to update some of the things on my Facebook page whenever like I try to refer any document which is useful to all of my colleagues or my friends, or sometime I try to update the things which I think that yes, this is something which is really important, which everybody should know. So and sometimes